Hey YouTube, it is League Turnover, and it is a little Jungle Cup, and so some pros to this. The rankings, as you're going to see, are pretty random, but it's because of how many typings there are. So it's a 500 CP league, which is I would call it a baby cup, but this is not a baby cup. The true little baby cup is just first evolution Pokemon, but this is not first evolution. This is also second and third evolution Pokemon. So as you're going to see, like Steelix is the #1 ranked Pokemon, so you have evolved Pokemon in this, but it's still 500 CP or less. The second thing is the typings. There's like, I think 8: normal, grass, electric, poison, ground, flying, bug, and dark. So, when there's a limited meta, when there's like 3 typings or 4 typings, like we just had in the color cup, right? It was very easy to understand what was going to be good, because it's like, okay, fire beats grass and grass beats water and water beats fire, and it comes down, and electric is kind of there, and it comes down to your secondary typing. So if you have like a mud boy, you're going to beat the electric as well. So, right. So it's very easy to do that sort of like triangle what beats what when there's like 3 or 4 typings. When there's 8 typings, it's a little more complicated. So it's like bug will beat grass. Does grass beat anything? Yeah, grass beats ground. Does ground beat anything? Ground beats electric. Does electric beat anything? Electric beats water. I don't see water on here, but there's flying, so it beats flying. And then flying beats bug. And then there's normal typing that is always out there. And then you got like a random dark on there, and there's no fighters or fairy, right? So it's tough to just like look at the list, and it's tough to look at the typings and figure out like this should be at the top. So we're going to have to go by PVPOKE rankings. Also, this is so Niantic. This is the only time I'll call out Niantic for this cup in this video, but banning Gligar and Stunfisk is such a season like 12 move. Like, these Pokemon have not been relevant for seasons now since Gligar since last season, since the Wing Attack nerf, maybe 2 seasons ago now, Wing Attack nerf. And then Stunfisk, again, has been meta in a long, long time. With Mudshot nerf made it even worse. So it's just to have those 2 banned is just sort of hilarious. So here's a list of the top 20 Pokemon. Again, you're going to see a mixture of like first evolution Pokemon, second evolution Pokemon. I've got some thoughts on why some of these things work and don't work, and we'll go from there. So it's really a few, I think, sort of categories here. So there's one in, I'm going to start with I'm going to skip the top Pokemon for a second and just go to normal typing. Normal typings in limited meta always dominate, because in a lot of these limited metas, there are very, very, very few fighters. They usually have to get in on their second typing. So you can see Pangoro, which people can't even get a friggin' Pangoro under 1500. You're going to get one under 500. Okay. But so there's not a lot of fighters, right? Which means normal typings always have a huge advantage. So Fletchling, Miltank at 6, Wiggly at 9. I know there's some secondary typings here with Flying on Fletchling and Fairy on Wiggly, but Diggersby at 10. So these are all the normal typings. And then there's other Pokemon, like, they're not normal typings, but Onix and Swinub and Steelix all weak to fighting, but there's not a lot of fighters in this meta. So anytime there is a meta that is a limited with no fighters, your normal typings always roam free. I got a triple normal team. I always have a triple normal team on these because it always works so well, because they are generally just so safe in the meta. So you can basically go Fletchling, Miltank, Wiggly, Diggersby. I think I did. I think I went Miltank, Wiggly, Diggersby as the team there, because you can. It's just very, very safe. So those are all your normal typings. Again, each of these have like either hard hitting fast moves like Charm, or like good spam. So you got like quick attack with Swift and Fly on Fletchling, and then the rollout is obviously you can hit the body slams very quick, and the quick attack you can hit the fire punch quick. So that is why all your normal typings are so high. Steelix is an interesting one. I feel like it's just because it's maybe overpowering stuff. Dragon Tail obviously does a good amount of damage in itself, and then you have 2 moves that like lower the defense or the attack potentially. So just being able to kind of like spam that in the 1 and 2 shield, I think it makes Steelix very, very strong. And I'm gonna just go straight into the fast move Pokemon here, because that is kind of what I did on one of my teams too. So you have like Dragon Tail's not a true fast move, but it does do a lot of damage in this limited meta. And then you have, like I said, Wiggly with Charm at 9. You have Onix with Rock Throw at 11 and 13. You have Cottony with Charm at 14. You have Togekiss with Charm at 17. And it basically comes down to, and then even your Mud Slap users are, I think I put Mud Slap user as one of the ones with the fast move damage, even though that's not it's not a true fast move damage move. Like that's really just Charm and Razor Leaf. But there's those secondary fast move damage moves, your Dragon Tails, your Rock Throws, your Mud Slaps, that really do add up, especially in little cups like this. So you're gonna see all these Pokemon just try and like sneak through with their fast move. But what makes stuff like these Pokemon generally strong, so there's like there's the fast move Pokemon that are just like you're really rarely going to get to a charge move. Wiggly 18 to get to the Swift, Onyx 14 to get to the Breaking Swipe. So you'll get to some, but it's not going to be like a lot, especially in a little cup like this. But then you have like Cubone that only takes 12 to get to the Bone Club. You have Steelix which only takes 12 to get to the Breaking Swipe. So they're not as hard as these other ones, but they're still pretty hard fast moves, but getting to the charge move at an okay pace. Right? Same thing with like Togekiss 21 to an Air Lace. You're rarely ever going to get to an Air Lace in a meta like this, unless you like double shield it and carry it over to the next one, right? So those Pokemon. Scroopy is just like, do you like Drapion as a safe swap in the Great League? Because here you have a Poison Sting with a Cross Poison and an Aqua Tail, both only 8 to get to overall, right? So Scroopy plays like Drapion, super spammy. It fits that bill. NK has one of the best fast moves again, Psywave, kind of like Malamar. And then it has a Night Slash that only takes 9 Psywaves to get to. So spamming having a really hard hitting fast move like Psywave, but still getting to the stab Night Slashes that quick is a pretty nice combo. I don't think I've used this. I was looking at my playlist because I have a little Jungle Cup. I have a Jungle Cup playlist, but it's all 1500 like Great League Jungle Cups. I did not see a little Jungle Cup unless I missed it or unless we skipped it one time. I didn't, unless I tagged it. I did not see little Jungle Cup teams. So maybe this is like maybe it hasn't been around in a while. But yeah, that's why NK's there. Swinub fits the bill of Scroopy. It is a great safe swap. Yes, you have some weaknesses, but Powder Snow is very spammy to get to these Icy Wind and Body Slam. Only 10 to the Body Slam, 12 to the Icy Wind with Stab on the Icy Wind. So it's a very spammy Pokemon. Talk about your Charm users already. I'll go back to Zigzagoon in a second. Okay, yeah, I guess we're just down to 3 Darks here. Zigzagoon, Pangoro, and Greninja. And not that Darks, again, well, there are some Charmers, right? There's 3 on this first list. There's Wiggly at 9, there's Cottonee at 14, and there's Togekiss at 17. So it's not, you definitely need to watch out for the Charmers in this meta. But Zigzagoon is like one of the few, maybe the only XL you're going to see in this meta. So having that extra bulk with a buffed Swift at 12 and then Dig at 17. And then Pangoro, again, there's a lot of things weak to fighting in here, right? All the normals, all the rocks and ice and stuff. There's a lot of weaknesses to ice here. Sorry, to fighting. I just don't know getting a 500 CP Pangoro. Is that even like a thing? And then Greninja is just your spammy, super spammy Pokemon, hard hitting. Like Hydro Cannon pretty much one-shots things in the Great League. Like in the 500 CP Cup, yeah, you best believe that it's going to be one-shotting some stuff here. So that is it. So we have to try and figure out how to build around this. So start with Steelix. And they suggested pairing with Steelix was a Cottonee. The only problem with that is you leave yourself vulnerable to steals because Charm is resisted and the Dragon Tail is resisted. So if you're gonna go with that, you need a third answer at the back as a ground. So that is why I put Diggersby. You know, you got spam. You're double weak to like rock here and fighting. Sorry, ground and fight. No, you're double weak to water and fighting. Steelix and Diggersby both weak to water and fighting. So I would use one as a safe swap. You can use like either or as a safe swap, honestly. In this meta, I think Steelix just probably fits the bill better as a safe swap. But Diggersby actually is pretty strong too, so you can do either or as a safe swap. Try and draw out that Cottonee punishes, and then the other one would roam free in the back. Again, I'm more worried about the water than I am of the fighters. With that said, you know, if it's just a water with that doesn't have like a steel or like steel or anything that resists Dragon Tail or Fairy like fairy waters, like I don't know if Azumarill's in this, then the Dragon Tail Psychic Fangs combo, you can probably 1 to 2 shield that a lot and then just overpower and flip switch if you want. So that's the first idea. The second was the very spammy team. So Scroopy, Swinub, Cubone. I did like a super spammy team and I did a fast move damage team. And this is a super spammy team. Like I said, Scroopy, only 8 to the charge moves. Swinub, 10 to 12. And then 12 to the Mud Slap Bone Club combo here on Cubone. So lots of nice wins in this meta. Again, when you spam this fast, the hardest losses for Cubone are going to be the things that resist ground, right? The Flyers, Ducklet, and Swablu. So that makes sense. But as you can see across the board, tons of wins and tons of just like evenish, slight loss matchups. And that's because if you can spam at this rate, you are always going to have good opportunities in a little baby cup because everything does like 50% damage. Again, for those of you who have not played little cups before, basically any neutral move, so your cross poisons here, your icy winds, your body slams, your bone club mud slap combo, it's going to take everything to like 50% and you'll probably need a second. The only way that doesn't relate is if you have like a Greninja with Hydro Cannon or you have a Pika Libre with like a Flying Press. Like those will one shot. But for the most part, everything else is just probably doing 50% damage. So when you can pump out 50% damage moves very quickly on these Pokemon, you set yourself up into a good situation there. So super spammy team. Yeah, so spam and use shields based on what you think is best. Fletchling, Greninja, Pika Libre. So this is a very... Well, Fletchling isn't too glassy, but the rest of them are very glassy. Pika Libre, Greninja, very glassy. But man, this is a holy nuke in the back team. Greninja, Pika Libre are going to one-shot pretty much anything. Hydro Cannon and the Flying Press will one-shot, which is why you have so many wins. But if you're going to get punished, you're going to get punished hard, right? So Greninja, Pika Libre are going to struggle with Cottony as the biggest one. So put in a Fletchling as a flyer to deal flyer fire. Is Fletchling a flyer fire? I know the evolved form is. I think it just may be normal typing. I'm not positive on that. You'd have to check that. But as an answer to Cottony, it has a lot of good matchups because of its spamminess, like decent fast move, good charge move, and then your very, very, very fast spamming and super hard hitting Pokemon in the back. So I think this will be a fun team to play with. But yeah, you're gonna be grabbing shields because the backline hits so hard. Triple normal. I said I'd do it, and again, you don't need to really worry about fighters in this meta. Like even how I said on that top 20 list was Pangoro, but as you can see, it's not even on this list. I don't see it because I don't think it's realistic. So triple normal, only weakness for most of these are going to be fighters, and not even that on Wiggly because that neutralizes it. I mean, you have secondary typing like Digger's Bee is half ground, so you're going to also be weak to water and grass, right? So it's you can also run just like a third pure normal type if you want to just like truly just have only one weakness all around. But again, Wiggly is not in that category either. But does the fairy weakness add anything? I'm trying to think what Wiggly's actually weak to. Let me just check this very quickly here. I don't think Wiggly... Oh, the poison. Yeah, the poison on the fairy. That makes sense. And the steel. Poison and steel. So there's two weaknesses, right? The fairy adds the poison and steel weakness. So if you want just a weakness to fighting, you can add a third normal typing instead of like just pure normal instead of a half. But I think with those three add like an okay amount of bulk with some spamminess move. So NK was an interesting one. I guess it makes sense that you're just going to get deleted by charm users because you're dark, right? So you got to cover that weakness. And Abomasnow, they suggested Abomasnow. I'm like, why? That doesn't cover your charm weakness. And then I put it in. I'm like, oh, that's why they recommended it. Holy wins down the line there. So Abomasnow, maybe a sneaky one to like. I did not expect that many wins in this But I guess it makes sense. You're pretty spammy and you're in evolved form, so you're pretty hard hitting too. So I guess that hard hitting spammy combo comes through. And then Cubone, I'm sorry, Marowak. You can use Cubone, you can use Marowak, same play. I think Cubone just has the little version with basically the same moveset is going to just have more bulk, so probably has a little more play. But if you've already evolved and have a Marowak around, that's fine. I think the last one is the fast move damage team. Yeah, so it is your, again, Wiggly, Cubone, Onyx. Not a pure fast move damage team, but again, this is like, I kind of like the sneaky fast move damage team. You may even want to lead with like Cubone or Wiggly. Wiggly kind of is a fast move damage. Onyx as a rock throw user. If I see Onyx as a rock throw user on the lead, I'm probably thinking fast move damage team already. If I'm seeing Cubone, I would not expect it. So if I was going to run a team like this, I would run Cubone on the lead where the slaps are still adding up and you can spam bone clubs. And then you sneak attack them in the back with a rock throw user and a charm user. And you get through battles in 1 minute and 45 seconds because these will be the fastest battles of your life. Probably faster than. I remember I did a fast move damage team in the Little Cup earlier this season and it finished in 58 seconds. Because it's just because it just did so much damage, and then I like beat them so hard and they just quit after like they see when they got down to their last Pokemon. So you can have some very, very, very fast battles if you want to run something like this. That is it. So that is the cup we are looking at here. Oops. This cup we're looking at here. Again, here's the rankings. I think there's options in this. This is a weird one. I don't know what people are going to play. I'm not going to do a Great League team because there is actually an event, the Lunar event, where there's like free Zygarde cells and a couple GBL Pokemon. So I'm going to do that event coverage this afternoon instead of a Great League top Great League teams because we just did that last week. But I don't know. I don't know what people are going to play. Let me know in the comments below what you're going to play. There's options for these because, you know, Spammy, there's options in this. The Great League meta is getting boring. I think that's a larger conversation that I don't think you can get around that. It just doesn't matter how many changes Niantic makes. I think that it's always going to be a somewhat limited, boring meta. But at least this is newer. So if it's only for a week, maybe people just want to play this, fast games, different Pokemon that you don't see in the Great League. So maybe people are going to want to play this. I don't know. Let me know in the comments below what you're going to play. Anyways, that is it. Thanks for watching, and I will see you guys in the next one.